Hello everyone, it's Tani Games here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a Bridgerton inspired build and I have to give full credit to Lainey Faye here. Now, I did see Lainey's upload and as soon as I saw it I was like, oh my god, this is the best idea ever. A Bridgerton inspired build, and I was like, I can't believe I hadn't thought of this. So I knew after seeing her build I had to do one, but as you all know, I have been in Denmark, so I haven't had any time to record any videos. So I do want to do a massive shout out right now to Lainey Faye for what feels like starting this Bridgerton in Disney Dreamlight Valley trend. After seeing her video a few days later, I started seeing a lot of other builds pop up from tons of different creators. Loads of us have all been inspired by the new season of Bridgerton, and I do think Lainey Faye has led the way with these ideas. So all credit to her for this particular build. Because I definitely probably wouldn't have had the inspiration to do it without her starting this build, by her doing a Bridgerton build. So I do take some elements from her build, like she did a whole orangery thing and I did steal that, so I do have to give credit where credit's due. So Lainey Faye, thank you so much, and for those of you that haven't checked her out, make sure you do. She does also play on PlayStation, and I think it's great to give creators who are on a platform that's kind of isolated a bit of a shout out as well, because I know it can be pretty lonely. So yeah, all credit to you there. Now, in terms of this build, we are using a lot of different buildings. We have the haunted mansions. I use Daisy's house. I use Remy's house, I think. I don't think I use it, or maybe I use his restaurant. It's one or the other. I do also use the Mike and Sully house as well and things like that. What I would say is any of the typical like city core or, you know, ornate kind of buildings will work in a Bridgerton inspired build. So if you don't have some of the premium shop items, it's definitely worthwhile just having a look around your valley and just seeing what buildings are available. I did at one point even consider the Lady Tremaine house, the bakery house. I think they all could have worked technically, but I didn't use them. They didn't fit in the way that I kind of wanted them to, and some of that might be to do with spacing as well. I think when you're doing a build like this is quite a big build. It's definitely pretty much, if you want to space it out in the best way possible, pretty much a full biome build, I would say personally. But I don't mind that. I don't mind big builds and stuff like that. I think it's always fun. Another thing that I do wish, and I have mentioned this before, is that I wish once we buy a premium house skin, that we could buy more of those so we can use multiples, because at the moment we can only use a maximum of 2 of a singular type of house skin. So you'll see that I have put down 2 of the haunted mansions, but realistically I could have used more of those, that's for sure, or like multiple of Mike and Sully's house or things like that. So I do hope at some point Gameloft allow us to buy multiples of these like premium shop houses. That would be nice. So Gameloft, if you're listening, pretty please give us that. So at this point I'm kind of working on a garden section, so there's almost like 2 parts of this build, or even 3 I guess you could say, and I do wish I kind of made this build a bit bigger and spread it through the entire forest of Valor, but this is me working on kind of like an orangery garden. And like in Lainey Faye's video, I've used the lemons because we don't have any oranges. So that's what I've used in place of those. But you could literally use any kind of fruit tree that you wanted. And then I'm just trying to set up some really kind of like structured gardens, because I feel like that is very much the Bridgerton aesthetic. It is all very either symmetrical or structured and things like that. Like, it's not like your cottagecore builds that are kind of cluttered and messy and stuff like that. They're a lot more spaced out and things, and like I said, just a bit more structure to them. So we've got this side of the build, well, one side of the build that has all the buildings, and then we've got the kind of garden side. Now, I am going to go into spoiler territory here, so if you've not seen the new season and don't want spoilers, you're probably going to have to click off, I'm afraid. I am sorry about that, but I need to talk about the new season because it has been so good. We've only had the first 4 episodes, and oh my god, they were so good. And there's a particular scene where Colin has a dream about Pen, and they're in like a garden, and they come to this like archway in the garden, and I really wanted to replicate something like that, which is why I'm using all the Hercules like archways and stuff like that, because I really wanted to create that kind of look, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get it to work. So I do mess around. I do end up using, I think, a couple of the park entrance ways from the premium shop that we had, but I do still keep some of the archways at least lead into this section. But I just had to do it. I had to do it. Honestly, I have been loving this season so much. I mean, I knew this season was definitely at least going to be one of my favorite seasons. I'm a big POLIN fan. Like, I definitely, maybe controversial here, Colin and Penelope. So POLIN over Canthony. I'm sorry to say. I'm more for the soft kind of love, that kind of almost like pure, not pure, like innocent love that I'm not an enemies to lovers kind of girl. I don't mind enemies to lovers, but just the fiery, the anger and stuff like that, I can't get behind that. I prefer my like softer kind of slow builds or things like that. Like, that's just more my kind of romance, I would say. So as much as the Canthony season was very good, don't get me wrong, it was very good, that kind of like fiery passion, like that rage passion, it's not me. It's not me. So everything that is kind of like Pen and Colin, like this slow build that's been building for basically 3 seasons is, yeah, that's more my vibe. I'm so bad at like getting the words that I want to say out. But yeah, that's kind of more my vibe. So I definitely wanted to do a lot of nods to the most recent season in this build. So as I said, we do have the arches for that dream sequence. We do have the balloon for the hot air balloon scene, and if you know, you know, we had to include a carriage. I absolutely had to put a carriage in, you know, I'm just saying, that scene, I swear, like, if I could have sat there and watched that scene on repeat, I know exactly what I'd have been doing. But I was on holiday, so I couldn't. I love Bridgerton. I think it's so fun, so enjoyable. So yeah, I just really wanted to do this build after, like I said, after seeing Lainey Faye's build and everything. I just knew it was something that I wanted to do. So this little bit that we're working on, this is the hot air balloon scene effectively. So I do a little staging area for like the Queen, and when she like has Francesca meet the what was he, like an earl or viscount or something? I don't remember. The guy that no one cared about Francesca being with, because the other guy, Martin, is that what it was? Oh my god, that was so sweet. Oh my god, they are the cutest together. And I know watching Francesca's season is absolutely gonna break my heart, because it's just so perfect already at the beginning. Right now their love is so perfect, and knowing what happens in the books, I don't know everything because I've not read them, but like from what I've heard, I know I'm gonna be a bit heartbroken because they are just too cute and too perfect together. So yeah, anyway, this little bit that I'm working on here, this is like a structured garden. I did use the partner statue here because I like the way it combined the seating with a bit of foliage and like a statue. So I do think that's a really good idea to kind of keep and use if you want to replicate a build like this. But I end up changing it to a date night table because with it being a Bridgerton inspired build, I was like, do you know what, I've got to do something a bit romancy, you know, let's really add more romantical kind of elements. So that's why I switched that up. But I definitely think if this was like maybe like a full-time build, I'll be tearing this down. I won't be keeping this. But like if I was keeping this as a full-time build, I'd probably keep the partner statue in there. But I did this pretty much just for the aesthetics. There's definitely some elements here that I really like, and I think I might use with like my fairy core inspired build when I eventually do that throughout the whole valley. But like just for this build for fun, I did want to use the date night scene or the setup because I just thought it was more romantic and probably a bit better for Penelope and Colin, let's just say. To be honest, any of the Bridgerton characters I think it would work for. But yeah, so this is me just trying to get some foliage in and stuff like that. Like when you see the scenes outside of the Bridgerton household and everything, there are a lot of foliage elements. There are on the building and everything like that. So I just wanted to get some like planters in and some more foliage just to add a bit more colour. You'll also see that some of my buildings are kind of turned the wrong way round. That's because this build is, as I said, just for aesthetics. It's not for like practical purposes. So if you did want this as like a long-term build, you could obviously set up the buildings so you could access them easier, but I just kind of wanted them for the looks. And obviously I wanted kind of like a household for the Featheringtons and a household for the Bridgertons, so that was my main goal with that. But yeah, like I said, if you were having like a permanent build, you could definitely organize it so that this was a bit more practically laid out. So yeah, but let's talk about some of the details that I guess I've added. I add a little gap here between the houses so that we can get through to the Featherington garden. I figured since we basically had almost like a garden setup for the Bridgertons, I thought it only made sense that we also had a garden set up for the Featheringtons. So that's what I work on. I work on like setting out some hedges just to separate the garden, and then it's a very simple garden for the Featheringtons. We just use a fountain, we use one of the gazebos with a bench underneath it, which I just thought had a very romantic kind of look to it. And then I do later on, I actually use some like a little table with the yellow Encanto chairs. And I went for the yellow chairs because like obviously I feel like the citrus colours are a staple Featherington colour. So going for the yellow chairs just kind of made sense to me. So that's why I went with those there. Also in the orangery, you'll see that I used some of the beds from the Belle Starlight bundle. The reason I did that was because I've seen in Dream Snaps posted in my Discord that some people have actually used the Starlight bundles, like the beds flip round to create like a curtain, like a tall fabric curtain, and I just thought that had such a romantic and whimsical look, so I really wanted to kind of integrate it somehow. So that's what I did there. I think if I was setting this up as a permanent build and like really expanding the layout, I would have expanded the Bridgerton garden to almost like the whole back end of this part of the Forest of Valor, and expanded the orangery and really kind of laid out those canopies a bit better. It is a bit cluttered and tight fitting, but if I did this as a permanent build, I would have just got rid of the whole like balloon, hot air balloon kind of setup. And then what I do with the back end of the Forest of Valor would be to do like a palace build for Queen Charlotte and do something there. Here I am picking out chairs for the garden. So in the season, they sit around and they play cards in the garden and stuff like that, like Hyacinth, Gregory, Colin and Benedict. They're all playing cards. So I just chose this octopus table because I think it's just so pretty and aesthetic. And then I wanted to go with like a Bridgerton blue chair. But the lighter blue colours all looked a bit too modern in terms of the chair choices. So I did go for Oswald's chairs, like the new chairs that have come in with Oswald's collection. So they are that little bit brighter, maybe a little bit more tealy coloured than the typical sort of baby blue, Bridgerton blue colour that you get. So it is a bit bright, but it's the best I can do, I guess you could say, with the current items that we've got in game. You'll also notice when I come to do the walk around, and even when I'm doing the build itself, there's a lot of times when I have issues with the bug that makes items disappear. It's very frustrating. It is so annoying. So yeah, it's something that just can't be avoided, to be honest. So I do apologize for any disruption that causes. I did notice in editing that my harp that I use for this setup for the kind of like the hot air balloon scene completely vanishes. So I apologize for some things missing or disappearing and stuff like that, but unfortunately with the current state of the game it's unavoidable. And do you know what, I am really gutted because I really wanted to get back into decorating more, because I have, like I've said before in previous videos, like it's something that I've kind of neglected a little bit, and I do really enjoy decorating. And this bug just makes it unenjoyable. I know that they're working on it. They have acknowledged it at least, but it is just a little bit frustrating. Hopefully more creators speak out about it. Hopefully they do, because I think this is way more game breaking than the camera mode, when in furniture mode you can get it angled all the way down. I know tons, like I think every content creator I watch commented about it, but like I feel like the state of the game at the moment is currently way more game breaking. Like I said, I'm glad that they have at least acknowledged it, but I'm not sure how high on the priorities it is for Gameloft to fix right now. We have got an update which is going to be coming in a couple of weeks. Well, I say a couple of weeks, it might more be like 2 to 3 weeks kind of thing, just based on the time left for the star path and everything. Well, I say 2, yeah, about 3 weeks I would estimate. Hold on, I'm really bad at like maths and calendars. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 weeks takes us from when I'm filming this up to the 15th of June, and I was estimating the update comes around the 19th, so about 3 weeks I would say before the next update. Obviously that isn't confirmed, by the way. That's just my estimations and guesses for when we're gonna get it. But I do worry, you know, because this has an impact on things like dream snaps. I know the current state of the game with all the crashes, that impacts people who have paid for a star path that currently cannot complete the star path because of all the crashes. So I don't know, it's upsetting to see the state of the game as it is at the moment, and I really hope that's something that they're prioritizing right now in their offices, is getting this game to a point where it's basically playable for more people. Because yeah, at the moment, touch wood, I haven't had too many game breaking issues, but I know plenty of people that have had issues where they just like, this game is unplayable. So I really feel for those people, and I do hope Gameloft is really focusing their energies there, because personally, as much as I would love to see Mulan come to the game, and I know she is coming and everything, I want them to fix the bugs. I think that's my main priority, to be honest. So yeah, anyway, enough talking about that. We are coming to the walkthrough part now. I'm going to do this walkthrough in the daytime so you can see everything quite nice and clearly. As I said, as I run around and do this, I'll randomly be going back into furniture mode just to make items reappear. So I do apologise for the disruption with that. And then later on we're going to do an end walkthrough with nighttime settings, so you can see how the kind of like the lamps and the lanterns work there. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how this build turned out, and I definitely think there's a lot of elements I'm going to take from this build that I think I will use permanently within my valley. It was really fun to do a Bridgerton inspired build because it is one of my favorite series at the moment. And again, I know I've said it a million times so far this video, but credit to Lainey Faye for inspiring me to make this build. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up here, let you watch the rest of this video in peace. To all my subscribers, thank you so much. To anyone who likes the video, who comments on it, your support is so appreciated. And of course, most importantly, to all my channel members, you guys are amazing. You go above and beyond, and I am so lucky and so grateful to have you care for this channel, to support this channel and everything like that. So thank you so much, and thank you all for your patience whilst I've been on holiday as well. I do appreciate it. But yeah, let me leave this here, and I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. Don't forget to leave a little comment, let me know what your favorite part was, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.